that what you're doing?
Third fret's the charm. Third, fourth, any spot where there's like not an actual natural harmonic and it just makes noise.
Yeah,
is the best. Also, like in this, like the 3 to 5 range.
Yeah.
Lots in the 3 to 5 range, for sure. How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, what's going on?
Sharp specs. Yeah, you broke one of your contacts
Yeah,
earlier
dude,
today.
our marketing call,
yeah.
our Zoom call today. I was like, I like blinked once and I was like, my contact feels weirred.
Yeah.
And then I like went to move it and I'm like, it tore in my eye.
This
and
is
I
in two pieces.
don't really understand what happened, but
Playmaster Puppets in drop D. Oh man, how would I? Oh, it's weirder that way because it goes down 2 frets. Are you in standard? I was doing drop D.
Yeah. No, there's no way I can do that.
I learned the fret and French harmonics instead of playing guitar. It was magical, totally. Like as soon as you kind of like find that like the right feel on the pick where you can just kind of hit it and yeah, it's a fun sound when you can get it just to squeal and open up like that. Would love a Revv. We'd love you to have one. What's up, Michael? How you doing? George, how's it going? What's up? Robertson, what's up, man? Good to see you. Going fade to black?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't even know what it is. Oh, there you go. It's funny, we were talking like with your nephew Luke, like he's like, yeah, Luke can play like the whole whatever Alice in Chains.
Jar of Flies, Alice in Chains.
And it was like, man, I was thinking with like playing that riff, I used to be able to play Ride the Lightning like start to finish, and like I totally like I used to have the time to sit down and do that. And now it's like I know most of the riffs are in E minor, but even then it's like I don't even really remember a lot of them. I used to know all those so well, but
yeah. So what's going on, everybody?
Yeah.
What's everybody doing on a fine Wednesday evening?
Fine Wednesday. What's up, Tyler? How you doing? Tyler just put up a sick G8 demo the other day that we're gonna share on our socials, which is awesome. Thanks for doing that, man. We appreciate it.
I'm not gonna lie, I have not watched it yet. I'm behind on a lot of messages. Sorry to everybody who I have not responded to.
Yeah. It's great. Tyler's awesome. And yeah, we really appreciate it. Anyone who takes the time to do that type of stuff, really do appreciate it a lot. Feeling super rich. What is the Revv modeled after? It's not really modeled after anything, Charles. I think when Dan was coming up with it, he kind of just took what he liked about, the circuit's not based on anything. He just kind of took the sounds that he liked from everything else and tried to put it into one amplifier. And, and that was it. So, yeah.
What he's always told me is he took the sound that he heard in his head, and he just kept tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until he got that sound he heard in his head.
Yep, that's exactly it. Wes, what's up, man? Give us the sick riffs.
I don't have any sick riffs. I'm sorry. I just play other people's riffs and I'm not very good at that because I don't remember most of them.
You're so self-deprecating. You
no,
play them very well.
No, like legitimately, I just don't remember. Like, I'm amazed when I was like, because what I was actually thinking of when I was like, isn't that Master Puppets?
That's what I was saying. It's like it's all E minor for sure. It's also like it's kind of like
where is that? Does it go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it?
It's a B, F sharp, F. Oh yeah, the harmonic minor thing. Or Phrygian, whatever.
I don't know. I agree. That sounds awesome. In my ears here, this guitar sounds so good.
That thing sounds spectacular. I've used that guitar for so many videos that we do in the shop here. Bebo with the ice, the hockey score. Nice. Red channel in it? Yeah. gonna say too with like.
There you go. I remember some Rage Against the Machine riffs.
1 week too late, wasn't it? Someone else asked it last week.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like even with that.
Oh, listen to that. I'm not even doing boomer bends.
Love it. It's kind of like AC/DC where there's like so many chords written around just like the major chords, whereas in Metallica it's like so many riffs written just around like that.
Yeah. Well, I could not do that if my life depended on it.
Right hand for days. Anyways.
Is that doing it? Is that right?
That was it. That was like hard on cocaine.
Yeah.
Anthony, what's up? Or Adrian, sorry. You bought a 120. That's awesome, man. Can't wait to hear it. I saw Andy picked one up too. We're really stoked to get these all out to you guys. And yeah. Anyways, we're digressing really fast. Sorry. We get distracted so easily. This is great.
Yep.
So today, a
lot of thought goes into what we do before we start. Like,
I feel like we plan ahead a week and it's like, yeah, sounds great. And then we sit here, it's like, oh shit, we didn't actually like.
We're like, what are we gonna do for an intro? And we're like, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna play Snow or Informer by Snow. And we're like, we can't figure out how to do that. So
we can't patch another audio line in.
And
here.
then I plugged this in and hit a D, and I was like, and you were like, how do you play Unchained?
We'll do that
like this. So
I saw someone say do bleed. I can do like 4 bars of bleed. Oh, there it is. This is gonna be the intro today, but
yes, amazing.
So bad. It was one of those things where like Alex was like, no, like Snow, like that's that song, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I am not old.
I was like, no, but I know that song, and it was like, oh, it's one of those songs that I've always heard, but have never given enough of a shit to know who it's by because it sucks. So it's like, whatever.
You know what I don't care about? That.
Yeah. Sorry, bleed. Meshuggah. It's like the song where it's. It does like different permutations of that pattern throughout the song, and it's crazy. On its own, it doesn't sound that ridiculous. You're doing the 0 bend? Oh, you're just doing it like this. I was doing it here, so you can do like the 0 bend.
I tried.
Yeah.
But I was actually just playing Barracuda because I can't play any other rhythm than that.
If you put it up a fret and speed it up and add a major or a minor third, it's basically Iron Maiden. Basically. Anyways, we got distracted. There you go. Basically.
Sorry, everyone. That's horrible. Smash that like button.
That's terrible. Smash
tell
it.
You what, I won't do it again. I lied.
Cool.
Sorry.
All right.
Those are my riffs.
I learned all the Iron Maiden songs. Yes, I did, Robbie. Cool. So, today, after all of our intro distractions, we're going to be learning something that Derek and I are not too familiar with. Oh, I mean, we're familiar.
You're being real nice. I have no idea how to work MIDI on our amps. Or let me rephrase that. I have no idea how to work MIDI with anything.
Okay.
So.
I'm from the field of I understand it. I know how to hook it up, but like I've never really attempted to do it to an extent that would be like any more beneficial than just using the switcher on my amp. So today we're going to be joined by our longtime friend Anthony Best, who is in the feed. I want to get Anthony. What's up, dude? How's it going?
What's up?
What's up?
I'm in Oakland, California, where I'm wearing a hockey jersey, and it's, I don't know, probably 60 degrees outside. So
nice. We're not wearing jerseys, and it's friggin' way colder than that.
Yes.
So, yeah. I feel like next week. Yeah, it's funny. We got Sean and Travis coming up here next week, and it's actually going to be warm. But like the past 2 weeks have been frigid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sweet. Yo,
right on.
Threat to you, Sean. What's up? What's the MIDI thing you speak of? So yeah, Anthony's a great, like, just kind of quickly, I guess you guys kind of would know, I guess, where Anthony's history with Revv started more than I would. But like you've been working, I guess, with our company and friends with us for like a long time now. Like, where did you guys first like up? Was it NAMM or was it just online?
Yeah,
NAMM?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Unless
met
Anthony's
at
gonna correct me.
NAMM.
Yeah.
And then so I ordered my first
740 in
740 orange one for your NAMM. I was like, hey, I was interested in doing one, and I was just chatting with. I had known people in the circle, and then we met at NAMM, and you're like, and Derek's like, hey, do you want to go play your amp? It's in here in the corner, and
nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm sure we met through one of the Facebook groups or through Kyle or something like
Kyle,
that. Well, ahead of that, but in person we would have met at NAMM. I remember, I think you were the first one to order an orange 740 because I was like, I don't really want to build orange amps because of orange amps.
Exactly.
I kind of don't really want to.
You're not the first person to turn down when I wanted orange Tolex. So there's been people who are like, I don't want to do that, and I was like, oh, okay.
I
put it in, and y'all did it. So
and I was like, what do I care? He has money and he wants to buy this.
Let's do it.
Let's sell him what he wants.
I mean, they don't own that, but I certainly get the like how people would be concerned about like copying anything, but they don't own the color orange and they don't own Bronco Tolex. So
no, but they do own that name. So
is it like a Gene Simmons thing?
Orange, the color.
I'm just messing around.
Yeah,
came from the fruit. Yeah, like it's
from the fruit. Yeah. So does the fruit have the patent?
Yeah,
on the name. Yeah, exactly. Nice. I was gonna say it's like a Gene Simmons scenario where like you do this and you have to pay him.
Facts.
Snapple facts.
Yeah,
dude.
So
now I own this. When Derek called me and said, "Hey, I released something. Do you want one?" On the day it came out, I ordered up this beautiful white G20
and
with
Anthony has serial number 007.
Correct.
Number 7, and he even has the 007 logo for the serial number because we're dumb like that. When Anthony was like, "You know what would be cool?" and I'm like, "Yeah, I know what would be very cool." Like, yes.
Sorry, Ethan, I'm just seeing your comment there. I apologize about that, man. We did actually upload a couple of videos that were done by some staff that we had here onto YouTube, and it is possible that those staff just were not with us at the point that you tried to contact us, so sorry about that. We did actually, since then, upload a little bit more content, and if you have any questions, like tonight, I think we're going to try to turn this into a few different series, because MIDI is obviously very in-depth, so tonight we're going to start basic, but like if you do have any questions, Ethan, feel free to shoot them my way, just sam@revamps.com, and between myself and the guys here, we can certainly try to help you out. We have put a little bit more content online now to hopefully make that a little bit more accessible. But yeah, for sure.
And there are some great videos out there. Like in my prep for today, there's like if you do, like we're going to talk a little bit about the Helix. If you look Helix and MIDI, like there's another video of somebody programming a D20 or a G20 with the Helix. Like there's a video out there doing it. There's a bunch of content out there.
Totally,
and just so everybody who's watching knows, a big part of how we decide what types of videos we shoot is what we see come in through either the info@revamps.com email address. Hello? Yeah. Something up? Got a phone call?
Alex is bidding on a van right now.
Yeah. So... so like if we get enough people that are emailing in saying that they're having some issues with MIDI or like tube biasing or anything like that, that's what kind of sparks us in our marketing meetings and like our content creation meetings to be like, hey, you know what? Like we've seen a few people ask about this, that's where a lot of the comparison videos between like G3 and G4 and all that kind of stuff, or like, how do the G series pedals sound through Fender amps? Like all of that stuff ends up coming out of people asking us. So like by all means, like, just
let us know what type of stuff you'd like to go through, and if you have any tech questions, feel free to either email them to us or let us know here, and we will certainly try to implement that.
And if somebody refused to connect you with the person who knows how to program it, that seems really strange.
Unless they weren't an employee of Revv,
or unless they thought that the only person who knew how to program it was Dan, and because Dan actually doesn't work at our facility with us, if you called in, you'll never be able to reach Dan because he's not here. He does all of his design work from his house. So, so there's probably some reasons there, but if you ever have any issues, email Sammy, email myself.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help out for sure.
We'll sort you out and we'll sort out whoever told you wrong.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, there's obviously like MIDI is very in depth, and it can kind of come down from, using something to control your pedal presets and your amp presets, using something just to control your amp, or like, actually having like, different scenes throughout your pedal and your amp rig. So like, Anthony, is it something that you've like integrated into your rig kind of permanently now, or do you like to use it for specific reasons? Or
no, like MIDI, my workflow in like, I'm going to use the word studio super loosely because like this is like the most overbuilt bedroom rig ever. Like MIDI is like my desk control, everything that in the amps behind and like with the Revv that lives next to me, everything is MIDI controlled. I switch which amp I use by MIDI. My pedals live in a rack back there. Everything's MIDI controlled. Like that, it's almost a requirement for me to put something in my rig that it's got to have some level of MIDI control.
Right.
And it's just how I get like it's how I do two things at once. Because like if I have to change to the purple channel and turn off and I want a dry signal, all of those things have to happen at the same time, and I'm not in front of a pedal board to do it. So MIDI is just always a thing for me.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I do pedal board tap dancing is what I do.
Well, that's the thing.
And I would like to change that.
There's just so many different applications. As we go, Anthony, like we'll obviously keep an eye on the comments here. And I see someone saying I'm using a 4-cable method with a Mesa JP2C into a Fractal XFX3. There's some routing issues, the channel switching issues. Can I switch channels within the Revv via MIDI? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can switch.
And so I have an FM3 in the mail, so it will be here. It's supposed to be here Friday. I have used that. I've had it, used it 4-cable method in the loop of my whole rig. When we do things like the Helix or when we do things like the XFX, you have to take into consider what your signal routing is from what controls the device. So with the XFX, usually in your preset, it has a bunch of MIDI commands, and that becomes the brain for everything else. Or your controller sends the MIDI message to the Revv and to the XFX, and you either need some kind of splitter or you chain them through. So on the back of your Revv amp, you have a MIDI in and a MIDI through. So with the Helix or with the XFX, you can run your MIDI controller if you're using if you're not using you're using the Helix floor, but like on the XFX, you can take your like MIDI controller. I use a Morningstar one, yada yada yada. This can run into the back of the Revv amp, and then out to the Helix or to the XFX to have another chain, or you get a splitter. So, that's when so it's certainly possible. It's a super long-winded answer. And Robbie is asking in the comments if I bought Austin's FM3. No, I bought Kyle's.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'm going to answer one other question that was above. Aaron asked if we moved away from WGS speakers. I would say and to Celestion for our stock cabinets, yes, you can still order stuff with WGS. We had a number of supply chain issues in the last year and a half, like lots of other people's, and we still love WGS. I love the ET90, the VET30, stuff that we are using, but Celestion was honestly a little bit easier for us to get in bulk. So and I do really like how the vintage 30 and especially the 75 watt Greenback sound together.
Yeah, totally.
That pairing is pure gold.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on our socials maybe over the next few days.
I'm just going to tell you right now, if you watch tomorrow, there's probably going to be some sort of announcement about new Dyna Rs. What?
You heard it here first.
What?
Heard it
Watch
here
for
first.
that stuff.
Does Anthony even know that?
Yeah, I
think
do.
so. Oh, do you?
Okay. Yeah.
Somebody told me.
Okay. Yeah. Someone leaked it down the
Kyle.
chain. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't. I was lying. I don't know. I just wanted to sound cool. I don't know anything.
So.
Keep an eye on our socials tomorrow. There's something cool coming.
Yeah.
But cool. Anyway, so sorry. So you're explaining, I guess, with a controller similar to the Morningstar that you're using. It does have multiple outs. You don't necessarily have to chain it.
So you have different. So a controller typically has one out. It usually has an in and an out, or it has an in and out and a through. So the Revv itself has a through, which a lot of amps don't have the through, and you just run it in, and you would require some kind of splitter. Like there's a box that will be like a 4-into-1 MIDI splitter, and what that does is it takes it and basically sends the signal 4 different ways, so there is no confusion. Because if you again, this MIDI technology is not new. This is old technology from the 80s. It's been repurposed for things like amps. So if like, for example, we take a preset, send it into the Revv, and then you have a pedal that's in the through and doesn't work, it's possible that there is MIDI confusion that happens between various brands. Like if you string a whole bunch of Strymon pedals together, they're probably all going to work fine. But if you take an Empress and a Strymon and then something else, there may get MIDI confusion there. That's why you want to split those signals out. But for the purposes of the basics here is take a controller, put it into the back of the Revv, and then obviously your MIDI through is usually good enough to handle whatever would be behind it. In a simple live rig. Now, again, I run 2 different MIDI splitters, one between me and the desk to do something, and then I have there's another 8-way splitter to control an amp switcher, 2 other amps, 2 Strymon pedal. Like everything else has its own MIDI cable in my rig.
Right, so it's all just powered up, and you can essentially use that to switch between everything how you want.
Correct. That is the way my rig work is. Everything. If I want it to be everything on at the same time, it can be. And then everything has a proper load of what it's supposed to do. And so again, if I get on a live stream like this and someone says I want to hear the purple versus the red, everything's ready to
hit it and you go.
Yeah, I just had it ready to go. Yeah. I could be doing something entirely different and have that ready to go in 30 seconds.
That's amazing. And I guess that's kind of the efficiency of it, is like once you have everything linked and chained in, it's really, it's not simple to program it, but once you've set up, just the efficiency of being able to do that is awesome. So
this is not rocket surgery. I mean, this is literally, there are 2 types of commands when we talk about MIDI. There's a program change and there's a CC or a command change.
And I get asked about those a lot on the service emails. So I kind of know the difference, but if you wouldn't mind explaining the difference between the 2, that'd be great. Yeah.
So the concepts that we're going to go through so you get your Revv amp on day 1. It ships to you and shows up in what is referred to as Omni-Channel Mode, meaning it will respond to MIDI messages on every channel. There are 16 available MIDI channels. So when you go to create a MIDI program change or a MIDI CC, you also assign it a channel. The reason for this is you're going to have, you're usually not just if you're going to take the time to set up MIDI, you are probably changing more than just the Revv, because the Revv foot switch alone
will do that.
Will do, like, most of the features that we will talk about today or here can be done from the foot switch. The foot switch on the Revv is awesome. It's I want to do a foot switch command and I need it to do something else. I want my guitar tech off stage or your band leader at the church to have some additional control over the rig, yada, yada, yada.
Right. Said no guitar player ever.
Hey, I do patch changes for Darren on his Kemper.
Okay.
Yeah. It is a thing. Sometimes if someone's like singing and they have to switch parts and play at the same time, like it's tough to hit that. So I definitely understand that. Yeah.
It is a very common practice for touring rigs for the guitar player to have a pedal board and their tech to have a mirrored pedal board. And there's a MIDI cable. It's basically a MIDI jump from the guitar tech to the player and then the player into the stuff, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay, so MIDI channel. I'll try to keep this on the rails as much as possible.
Oh, no, you can tell that we're bad at keeping it on the rails.
No,
so
again, like I said, I got the time, and we can take this as multiple sessions, but I want to make sure we cover off on these basics. So your amp ships to you in Omni-Channel Mode, meaning doesn't matter what channel you send it. You send it channel 1, it should respond. There are instructions in the manual to disable Omni-Channel Mode and then specify a channel. So, for example, I have serial number 7. I run my Revv on channel 7. Like that's the channel I designate to this, because channel 1 is a different amp. Channel 5 is one of the Strymons, channel 6. Like, so I need that separation between these things. But for you take this Helix, plug it straight in the back. You can send it any channel you want.
Right. And then, I can use that also to control, like, not just the channel switches, but any of like the aggression switches or like any of that type of stuff.
The channel think of this as like, this is my dedicated phone line. Like, so the program change is an action, and a command and a continuous control is a different kind of change. Derek, have we lost you?
He's sweeping. He's just sweeping up the floor over here.
Exactly.
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch.
Sweeping on mute.
I was doing the best sweeps you've ever heard. It
Yeah.
sounded a lot like this.
It's the Guitar Center sweep of doom.
Yeah, exactly.
What we need to do is pan to Derek and have Sam actually do the sweeps, and they will sound awesome.
Barely. Have you ever seen that? Sorry to interject. It's like I saw it. It was like a meme that went viral, and it was a tab, and it was like Guitar Center sweep of doom, and it was like note on the top string, note on the high string, and then just like a bunch of dead notes in the middle. It's like
the best.
Yeah, it's like 100%. Like working in a music store, you hear that all day. But you know what? Kids are just trying to shred, so it's all good.
That would be me trying to do any sweeps.
Yeah. Oh man, that's it. I can't sweep anymore. Get Scott Craker on here. He'll do it justice. Yeah. But anyway, sorry. We'll keep going.
All right. So
calling
MIDI
him the janitor.
channel is like this is the line in which we're having a communication on. The MIDI channel itself doesn't do anything except this is it's the string between two cups to have a play the telephone game.
Right. Scott
somebody
literally
sweeps.
comments. Someone say sweeps
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
He's all like he heard it. He was outside chopping wood. It was like someone say
it's like his bat signal.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, let's go. It's the Craker alarm. Those are called rake arpeggios, Adrian.
Great.
That's amazing. Cool. Anyway, sorry, Anthony.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep
No,
doing
it's
this,
all good.
but keep going.
All
There.
good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the channel is basically how we get the two devices talking together. So you tell the Helix to talk to the Revv on, let's call it channel 1, and then you would assign other devices, other channels. Again, if it's your main piece in your rig.
Right.
The PC is a program change, which is going to be used to determine. You're going to use that for it is a set of commands that are already there. So think of this as, I want the blue channel with the bright switch on and wide mode on.
Right.
So those three things together, you'd go and you dial that up on your amp. You'll hit the store button, and then you send it a PC message. So that would be like PC1.
Right. And that will just it'll
for all
recall
of
whatever
those
you.
settings.
So could we try to do that right now?
Let's
Let me
do it.
see how
Yeah.
that works. Yeah, let's do it. So that's kind of like, and that is more or less how, like, I sound like a noob here, but like when I'm testing the amps, like when I'm testing the MIDI functionality of the amps in the shop, that's generally what I'll do. Is I have like a 2 notes preamp pedal that I've programmed to send a specific message. I'll hit store, do it, make sure that it's saved that setting on the amp, and that it recalls that. So that's what you would call a program change.
Yeah. So the first thing we want to make sure is, again, that your channels are talking to each other. So, for example, like this may be tough for you to read, but again, my first button here in this corner is dedicated to the blue channel. And while you can't read any of my settings, you can see that I have the bright switch on, and it's on the blue channel, and it's not in wide mode because the wide mode's there. But I just simply hit store, and this button should start to flash. Do we see the flashing on the screen?
It's the store button there. So I'm also kind of mimicking what you're doing here, just so I can actually see it. So I've got channel 1 with the you don't have the bright on. I guess it doesn't matter, but you've got channel 1.
It's whatever settings you want.
Sure. So let's do. I like having the wide switch on with the bright. So let's start with that. So I got the store's flashing. Yeah.
And then we need to program on the Helix a PC1 message on channel 1. So so I'll stop share, or won't we pull up, because I know you've got
I've got I guess HX edit, like just like the actual, and I've got like this Helix has 4 presets on it that Sean made, but everything else is blank, so there's no actual presets on it, and it's not like I'm running 4-cable method into the amp or anything. Like for the purpose of this, I'm just going to use it to literally make it switch the amp, and then we can go into
correct. None of the effects are what's happening here. So there's in the Helix, there's an access command area in HX edit, which changes the buttons, which allow you to control what's happening on the buttons on the Helix.
Right. So it's essentially assigning a function to whatever button you want in terms of recalling those presets. Gotcha. So what I could do basically is this is skipping ahead, but when you hit the store button, essentially what I will do once we set it up in the Helix is to set up that I'll hit the button I want to save that preset on, and therefore I could just save like 8 presets right on the face of it.
Correct. Okay. Like I have 4 presets in mine. It is blue, green, purple, and red. Just because that's the way I have it set up, which is very similar to how
Right.
the foot switch works. But I could have one green, 2 blue,
with
well,
like the
purple.
different wide, bright settings and shit like
Correct.
that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. That's the Derek sound of approval.
There's like, can I have 27 versions of the green channel, please? That's what I'd actually like.
Yeah, that's all he wants, actually. Really, is all he wants. He wants the 740 green channel on every channel of this amp. So yeah, I do have HX Edit, I guess, open up on here. Let me just...
Yes. So what you're looking for in HX Edit is the access command to change the... And you were working with a Helix floor, right?
Yes, just like the standard floor model.
Yeah, that's fine. Because again, there's a...
Okay.
And the other thing that I should point out to everybody is every MIDI controller that you have is going to be different in some way. Again, programming... There is a way to get the manual for whatever you use. I use the Morningstar because it's fairly inexpensive for what it is, and and it has a good UI. Like the Boss makes one. Everyone has its own individual little quirks about things.
Right.
And then when you use the device like the Helix or the Axe Effects or whatever, obviously, it's giving you MIDI functionality within the device. So that's like right here is like. The programming one of these buttons on the Helix floor is an option of what we can do
with like the Morningstar or any of that.
Well,
stuff.
Everything's going to be different. So again, the fact that we're doing this video in the Helix, I would go about it again. I have to program a Morningstar differently than I program the Helix. Everything whatever interface you're programming this into is going to be different.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me get this straight. I have to read a manual?
Not only that, but a different manual for every product.
Yeah. Derek, you don't have to read a manual. You have a friend who can read a manual for you, and you call that guy.
It was really funny because like we were talking about this, and Derek's like, "Yeah, I got hockey tonight, so guess what? You're doing it." And I was like, "Great, let's go."
Yeah.
Kyle also says, "Sorry, slow bend every time Derek doesn't understand something." So here we go. Anyways,
all right.
Okay. So
I can Google along with you because again, I don't own a Helix, but I can talk just about anybody through what you're looking. Because I did a little research on this today. So,
do you have any experience with the RGM stuff?
I have a ton of experience with the RGM stuff.
What do you think of the RGM Mastermind?
Best product on the market, really expensive.
Sweet.
There you go. Derek has one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are different. So there's the RJ stuff that has the loopers in it. That's all in one great pedal board unit. They make just a flat out MIDI controller, pro level stuff. All of Smashing Pumpkins use these. And again, you're talking about $1,500 for a box on the floor that sends messages. It doesn't.
Well, I did not spend that for.
That's how much it is. Yeah.
Yeah. The 16 through 21 button MIDI controllers are $1,500 to $2,100 for a box that does
Stokes.
This box right here doesn't make a sound. This thing does not. It's not a pedal. This thing does not have a boost.
Yeah. It's literally just the controller for what you're doing.
It literally is just a controller.
Yeah.
And again, this is a third of the price of what you'd pay for most of the RJM stuff. But the RJM stuff is the software interface makes that stuff so easy.
And I guess someone's asking what makes that better than the ES8 or ES5. Is it the program that you find that works that you get along with, or
so I also have an ES5. There are quirks with the ES5 around how it handles instant access. The ES5 is really designed around presets. So
is this the one we're talking about? This is the
that's the LT,
PBC.
Right?
This is the PBC. Well, this right here. I'm sorry, I'm just holding this up. It's the Mastermind PBC 6X.
Yep.
Yeah,
that thing for a pedal board with loops built in. Best product on the market.
Excellent. Good to know.
Nice.
So I will program this for you at some point.
Yes. First, we have to get cables.
Yes.
We've had this for a long time.
Yeah.
And no cables.
Yeah.
So the reason for this again is the way the Boss works is you send it with each button on these MIDI controllers does something. Like for an example, in the Helix, we're going to be able to hit a button that sends a PC message. That I know we will be able to do. That will change a setting on the amp. I can go from green or some blue to green. I can one button that does that. Yada yada yada. Yeah.
Right.
It's when you want to do things like I want to toggle something. So I want to toggle the state of, like, for example, if I hit the purple button on my MIDI controller once, I want this and then that. I can toggle the aggressions.
How come we can't do that? We got a guy here who's controlling this stuff. We can't even do that.
We can do that.
Stobes, come on, get with it.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah, so if I double tap these buttons, I can also change the aggression mode.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Oh, yeah, I can see the LED.
So the same
there.
as the amp works then.
Correct. So the fact that I can program a button to do that, the boss is very much set in I want to send a PC and possibly one CC command, that everything is really preset driven. So what you are attempting to do with the boss stuff is, and again, it's also really focused around the loops and the pedals as well. So it's doing multiple things, is where a device like the RJM MIDI switchers, which came first before they were doing the little loopers, and like the Morningstar is a newer device doing things at a pretty decent price point. And it, again, like like I have a full application here that lets me say, okay, on this button on bank 4, which is my Revv bank, and on preset C, I'm sending a program change to the Revv. I'm sending a program change to my Big Sky. I'm ensuring, and this is the difference between a PC. Like, this changes the preset on the Big Sky, and this makes sure the Big Sky is on. So this is a change control here.
Right.
And then I do the same thing for the timeline. So I have 5 things that happen. And then if I double tap that button, I can also use change control 24, which is what rolls through the aggression. So, and that's where we see in the manual, which again, Eric, read the manual. This tells us what commands are available.
It's not likely, bud.
Again, you got a guy. You can call me.
Yeah, you got a guy. Just get someone else to do it. Yeah, exactly. And that guy is me.
This is this is not complicated. I do not want to scare people away and say, like, this is hard to do. It takes thought. And again, so let's go back. And I know we just went down 8 levels deep to explain.
No, but that's good, because looking at it in front of you, it's like, okay, no, it's really not complicated. It's just a matter of going through the steps to make sure it's doing the specific functions that you want. Yeah.
And if you think back about how this was done 5 years ago, and you'd hit a button 27 times, like, the interfaces have made this way more easier. So again, if you were Dave Friedman of Rack Systems building a rig for somebody, Jerry Cantrell 20 years ago, using MIDI, like, it was hours. And like, I'd scroll through this to name it something different. We now have software interfaces. So like, in your Helix, you've got this access control thing that says, I want to turn one of these buttons into an instant access feature that will likely do one thing. And that's, again, the limitation of each controller. Mine, I can send like 16 commands with one button.
Right. And
I think the Helix per button will do one thing.
I'm still very impressed that he changes patches on the Big Sky. Like, that's what I learned from what you said a minute ago, when you were like, and then I'd send a command to the Big Sky, and I was like,
so
not to just turn
but
it on.
What's happening is, what he was saying is, he's basically going in, like, on the Morningstar, from what I've gathered in this description. Essentially, you can go into each button and view what you want it to change when you're doing that, and have it send separate messages to separate devices through that specific.
Correct.
Like,
so
command.
Derek, the way I have it programmed is, obviously either on the blue or the green. I then have access. So these control the Revv, and then these buttons actually don't do anything to the Revv. These control the Strymon pedals, and ambient I recall, is a specific preset on the timeline and a specific preset on the Big Sky. Dry turns all the reverb and delay off, and then wet pulls up a different, like, room reverb and a delay, which is different than my ambient wash.
So are you saying you're using more than just the the boiler verb on the big sky.
I mean, I pretty much use the cloud. I use cloud and the Carney Hall. Like I don't use the only thing I use the timeline is ever the tape delay. I have a low mix. Like
that's hilarious because like all I use is like the D bucket and the tape.
Yeah,
they're like the best sounds.
I have to have a delay pedal that is MIDI controllable, and my option.
Totally.
Like, I bought the Volante because I only use the tape version, but I don't need all of the like. I don't know how to program all of those heads. Like I know how to do MIDI. I'm not guitar smart to understand where I want 3 heads to bounce off of each other.
Right.
Yeah.
The Volante was an interesting pedal for me for sure. Like that whole concept,
dope.
as simple as it was crazy. Yeah.
Check out the night sky and start sequencing your like a player like you, Sam, would probably understand what to do with the sequencer in the night sky delay. I was like, I used one. Like I had like that's the here's the the cloud delay.
Yeah. On that. Totally, and it's cool because it's like it's all just on the face of it and it doesn't have the screen as much. But like at the same time, I was sitting there with the Volante. I was like, man, I understand what this is doing, but it's very like, yeah. So let's actually, sorry, we kind of diverted there, but let's just try to actually make this Helix do something to the amp here.
Yeah. So the big thing on the Helix is we got it. I don't know what button to hit without Googling it around how you get into the access control, which is what allows you to change what buttons do what on the Helix.
Okay, well, I think, let's see here. So Helix access control. Let's check it out.
I don't know what that's doing. Oh, that's changing things.
So sorry, Anthony. I need to basically go into where I can stop for 1 sec.
So, no.
I need to go. I
did it. I made Sam mad.
I need to go into where I can essentially designate like a function of this button. Is that what's going on? Okay. Well, I know nothing about the Helix, so I have snapshots here.
I'm Googling this as we go as well.
Cool. I will say, and I kind of like the fact that I know nothing about this because we can literally go from the ground up on this, but I will outwardly say I've actually never used a Helix for anything. So this is certainly a learning experience, which I'm totally fine with. So I know...
Bobby says you have to get to the control center on the Helix.
Yeah, that's exactly what...
Yeah. How do I do that?
Go to the control center on the Helix.
Where is that though? I don't know where that is.
It's in the Helix.
Okay, it looks like it's in your upper. Like there's there's some menus.
Fuck off. Okay, sorry. It's in the Helix. I know it's fucking in the Helix. Okay.
The files are in the computer.
I'm going to a new preset. Okay. We have a new preset here. Perfect. New preset.
Did you get to the control center?
So it looks like there's a button in the left-hand corner that has like three, maybe it looks like 3 lines or something. Because like this is where we get to the menu, and like again, this is how we like troubleshoot stuff. So this is like on the hardware itself.
Oh, on the actual Helix. Yeah, I got the 3 lines here. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
Oh yeah, controller assign. I got bypass assign, controller assign, command center. Perfect.
I think it's the one that says command center.
Okay, command center. I see pictures. I see pictures of all the buttons now.
Correct. Now you should have a button that looks like a little lightning bolt.
Yep, I got 6 of those.
I was gonna say you got a bunch of those.
Yep.
Okay. I think
the ones that look like a pacifier, maybe.
Yep. So just click OK on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then again, you probably have like a touchy knob that you can turn to say what you want to do. What we want to do is send a PC message.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. So turning knob. So we got none. We got MIDI CC. Perfect. MIDI CC is what we want.
No, we want MIDI PC.
MIDI PC.
Or MIDI.
Okay, go back.
Or go MIDI back. Program.
Go one more. There. Now, see if you can click the CC.
Sorry.
No, go here.
Yeah.
And then can you go like this and like...
Oh, CC number. I got it. CC number.
Oh, no, that's CC number.
No, we need PC.
Oh, geez, I don't know what I'm doing.
And again, the CC numbers are different. So again, the PC numbers is I want to basically take a preset of all of this. Now, there are CC numbers where you could send it a CC command, which specifically calls the correct channel. It's not what we want to do. We want all of these things to go together.
Right. So on the face of the Helix, I'm scrolling through everything we have here. I've got basically no command, MIDI CC, and then there's MIDI channel, CC number and value next to that. And then I've got bank, so that's obviously switching between banks. Then I've got MMC, and then I've got EXT amp, and then I've got CV out. I've got hotkey, and I've got HX looper, and that's it.
Feeling good on a Wednesday.
Jeez. Do we want to just try sending it a CC then, since I have this here? Like, do we want to do that? Like,
yep. I'm just scrolling. I found the help article on this. I'm trying to see.
Yeah.
Charles, I don't know, guys. Can we make this more complicated?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
I don't mind the fact that I know nothing about this and I'm trying to figure it out here because, like, that's kind of the point of what we're doing.
The whole point of the video is titled that we get taught how to use MIDI.
We know nothing, so this is great.
Okay, no. What we want is the bank program. So we want
bank/program. Okay, got it.
That's what we want.
Okay.
Look at what Robbie says. Robbie has stuff figured out. Oh, now we can't read it because Stobes walked away.
There you go.
Holy
jeez. The lightning bolts
jeez.
and the instant switches. Where you go to the preset, you highlight any of the foot switches. You can assign a PC or a CC. Toggle it. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Great. So I got that up there now, Anthony. I got bank program, /
The MIDI channel is 1. Leave the bank stuff alone.
Okay.
Like leave. I think the off is an option.
That's what it's set to right now. Yeah.
Okay. And then for program, put in 1.
Okay. Program 1.
And then go to the next, like, once that's saved.
I just click save.
Yep.
And I'll just save it as, it says new preset, but I don't want to save it as new preset, so now it's going to be
poo preset?
Poo preset.
Pew
preset. Okay. There we go. Okay, I got it.
So now let's go to the next lightning button over. Do the same thing, but make it program 2.
So sorry, I go back to the same. So the 3 lines here.
Yep.
And then command center.
And then command center. And then we go over to the next lightning bolt. How do I move this over? There you go. Perfect. And then we're going to go to bank/program.
Yep.
And then we're going to go to number 2 for MIDI.
So the channel is still 1.
Okay. Okay, got that.
And then program, or then a bank is off. Other bank is off.
Program is going to be. Program is 2.
Because what we want to do is we'll assign PC1 to the blue channel and PC2 to the green channel.
Perfect. Okay, so I've got both those in here. So now I just need to click save again.
Yep. And then we need to make sure, like, do you know which buttons on the...
Your same preset.
No, I know. We're saving to the same preset. It's going to be different buttons, I don't. So how... And I guess I have to allocate that to a button.
Those action buttons to the actual buttons. Because it looks like all of your scribble strips on each one of those buttons on your controller are all blank, right?
Yes. So we need to assign that to these switches.
I think so.
Yes.
So once you exit out... So these are all saved and exit out of the command center.
Okay, so let's go back to home. Okay.
I think you do this on the preset level.
Yes, I believe so. So now I can go into HX Edit and do that, or do we want to do it on the face of the device?
You probably can do it in HX
Edit. Cool. Okay, so now essentially we're going to allocate presets to the switches that we've just put in.
Mitch says he wanted to recognize me for teaching MIDI over virtual. Do you guys know what I do for a living, right? Like I actually like I don't do education. I am actually not an educator, but this is like I literally do product demos and software architecture for a living in a virtual. Like this is my home office.
This is awesome.
I spend 12 hours a day in this room doing this. Just MIDI and guitars is more fun than
doing that.
Mobile messages.
Perfect. Okay, so I now have... So let me try to get HX open again. And now what I think I can do is to go bypass/controller assign. Is that what it is in the program?
I think so.
Okay. Nice.
And this is why I say whatever...
Oh, here we go. Yeah, so when I go into... so I've now... Alex, if you got that screen there. I go on the bottom from edit into...
one, or foot switch whatever you want.
Yeah, so let's go foot switch 1. Okay, so I got foot switch 1 on here.
And then you should
and then
be
it
able
says
to grab
type. We want latching, not momentary. Correct.
correct.
And then we got min pan, max pan, switch LED.
Like this is where we should be able to grab one of those items, I think.
Yes. Yeah, from what I
So
understand.
I don't know if you can scroll down.
I cannot. Let's see
This
here.
where it says
This
like
is fun.
customize or controller.
Yeah. You know what? I will say I have done this on the Helix before. So why don't we just try to do it that way? So I'll go to the three things here. So let's go to. I guess it would be controller assign. Or would it be command center
Robbie's
still?
saying read his comments. Like I think he's telling us how to do that.
Read my comment. Go up. So you should have done those PC commands on the foot switch things below, not the lightning bolts. Oh, the lightning bolt ones happen when you automatically switch to that preset. Okay, so you have to go back into the command center here.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks, Robbie. So I'm going to go... Okay, perfect. So now I'm on this foot switch. And then I go to bank, program, and then... Okay, perfect. So I'm on the foot switch now. And that's going to be the... And that's and it actually is positioned according to where they are on the Helix as well, which is great. So I'm on this button here. So then I go command, MIDI channel is going to be 1? Or is it going to be... Okay,
Nope.
perfect. So,
We wanna
sorry
do
for asking so
everything
many
on channel
questions. So MIDI channel 1, and then everything else blank on this one.
Program 2, wasn't it?
Program. That was the second one we did.
Program is 1, and then the second one is program 2. So it's channel 1,
Okay.
bank off, PC 1
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
The
That's what we
next
got. So,
button
yeah.
is going to be
This is
channel 1,
number 2.
bank
Number 2.
off, bank off, program channel 2.
Perfect. Okay.
Or
Great.
program
So I got
change.
that. So we got bank program change. MIDI channel is going to be 1. Program is going to be 2. Okay. Great. Okay, and now I can see that these have come up on the actual buttons on the Helix too. So that's good. So now let me just quickly go into this one more time. This one doesn't look like it is saving for some reason. So bank program, MIDI 1, program 2.
Yep.
Perfect. Save. Okay, so now I have this on here. So what you're saying, now I'll go to the amp.
Yep.
And I hit the store button.
Just press it once and it should flash. Now
It'll flash,
hit
and now I hit that
first
command.
button.
Now that button, and it'll just send it back, and it should blink. It did it. There we go.
Now, set your now go and set your channel 2 settings. Go take blue aggression, green channel, blue aggression.
Yeah. Like we'll make like a different setting for that type of thing.
Right.
Okay. So let's go back home because this is giving me some weird shit. So we're gonna go to that. We're gonna go to command center. We're on this one. So we got command is bank/program, MIDI channel 1, bank CC off, bank CC32 off, program number 2. And it's on this button, but for whatever reason, it isn't wanting to save to that button for me on the face of the Helix.
That's not the same button, dude. That's why, isn't it?
No, it's number 2. I got it right there.
Yeah, but is it looking at number 2 as the one that's currently marked bank up and or like?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
I
you're
see.
one over,
I see.
right?
I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Oh, I know more
Wow,
about this
so
than
now you know.
Ah.
I wasn't seeing the bank button as like a thing. Okay, so perfect. So now we go to this one. Sorry,
go to
sorry
that one.
Anthony. I know this is like
No.
super remedial. I know this is like very remedial pace for you. But
This is what makes this tedious. And like once
yes.
you figure out your controller, or
Yeah.
once again, and usually once you, and I'm sure there's an easier way to do all of this in HX Edit. But
yes,
you have
certainly.
to know which part of the application to go to. Like again,
and that's the thing is like I've never used the Helix. Okay, so I think I've got this now. So I'm going to set up 3 commands here. So let's go to the next one. So yeah, so I have bank 1, bank 2. I haven't actually set anything for on the amp yet. But essentially, what you're
probably in your customize can actually rename that, and you'd have to again. This is where you go through.
So you could have like channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Yeah,
correct.
exactly.
On the scribble strips, you could again like on mine. This is where again I have these programmed as blue, green, purple, red. Like eventually, you should be able to change those names to what the buttons do.
Exactly, and I know that you can do that in HX Edit. So I'm just gonna quickly do like let's say 4 here, and I'll just set up one for like my favorite presets on each channel. So let's go over here. Next one we got foot switch 4, MIDI CC command, and then we got we're going program MIDI channel 1 off. We're gonna go number 3. Then we're gonna save that. Boom. And then we're going to go over one more. And we're going to go to MIDI CC.
It says you'll want to clear the lightning bolt assignments as well.
Okay, thanks, Robbie.
I mean, I said you're going to want to clear the lightning bolt
automatically.
assignments.
This is where
yeah,
the workflow matters, because again, what you might want to have happen is when this preset loads, you might want it to load the blue channel on load.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to go back to the command center here and try to delete those ones that we had, and then just clear that. Perfect. Okay, so I've essentially set up 4 different PC commands on each button here, and I guess those will actually be determined by what we want to dial on the amp. So the first one,
right?
Yeah,
So the first one's already set. We need to. We still need to program the second one.
He needs to fix that
channel,
though.
right?
Fix the first one because you went to the wrong button.
So first one is going to be that one.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh.
So channel 2. So I'll dial in. That's, let's say I want the red aggression. For example, I want that. I'll hit store. It'll start to blink, and I will hit number 2. Perfect.
Boom.
And then
You can
blink
see it
there.
flash. Okay, so you've now
so-
programmed.
You got to get out of command center a bit.
Yeah. Hang on one sec here.
No, that was correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because you're in command center, I bet you got to get out of
it
that.
won't do it. Yeah. Gotcha.
Now try changing it.
There you go. Oh, she's.
No. There you go. It's not working.
Oh no, I think it's that I have to allocate the. It is doing it, but I need to. This is one of the things where I need to go into HX. I need to allocate. Yeah, it's something in the Helix thing, but it's doing what we want it to do. So let's go to number 3 here, and I will go to let's say purple channel exactly. Let's say I want to go with the bright switch on the blue aggression. It's gonna blink. I'll send that. It'll flash when I hit the store. Recall that.
And again, the other things that are recallable are your cut and fat, and you've got your switches there. So.
Any of the momentary switches.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or buttons.
Now, it is also important to note the EQ settings of the amp are not MIDI controllable. These are analog pots. So it does not store these settings like a digital, like an Axe-Fx would. Like you can't have a scooped red section, and have it controlled by MIDI.
Gotcha. Sorry, Ethan. We're keeping this to like the most like this is like we're gonna do a few different series on this, and we're starting very basic. Like again, we're starting this as if you just got a Helix and a Revv and you don't know anything about this, because we have got a lot of inquiries about this. So we will dive into the more in-depth stuff later as we go, but we are starting this fairly simple just for anyone who's looking to get started with it. Again, if you've got any questions, please feel free to hit me up, and I'll do my best to facilitate getting you the info you need on that. So.
Yeah, and what that means is Sam will probably just give Ethan my cell phone number, and call me
we'll hook you up, man. Like if you have any more in-depth questions, dude, like you and I and Anthony can definitely get in touch and we'll help you out, because there is certainly much more than what we're doing right now. It is capable of much more than that, but we're just starting with the basics right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you configure the channel setting on the amp, click the store button on the amp, and then save on the Helix. That is a extremely basic function. That's like if you're just getting started and you want to send a PC command just to use something that isn't the amp to switch it. Yes, you can certainly get much more in depth with that. So cool. Okay, so that all worked. So what you were saying now
do your buttons actually change? From I know button 1's not working correctly, but does button
they're going. Yeah, no, they are working. And basically, I've just set it up so that like 1 is clean, 2 is crunch, 3 is purple. Right. You just kind of work all your way through. Yeah.
Now the other thing to understand is with each one of your channel modes, and again, especially in your environment or those of you who are using the XLR connection.
Yeah.
With each channel mode, like meaning purple channel, blue aggression, you have the ability to store a virtual cabinet to that specific setting.
Aggression setting, as opposed to channel setting. Yeah.
Correct. Like, so if I want a different cab on green no aggression than I do on green blue aggression, I can have a different virtual cab to do that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really cool. So would that be using a PC command or a CC command?
Those
I guess it depends on how you're doing it.
To the channel itself. So this is the difference between the Alpha Series amps and the G Series amps.
Right. Okay.
On the Alpha Series amps, each cabinet is stored to the same PC number as the. So like we stored on a G20 preset 1, which might be the clean channel, also has a corresponding virtual cabinet that sits in the first slot.
Yeah.
And then if you on preset 2, you want to put the cabinet in preset 2 that you want in that same slot. It works slightly different on the G20 series. So you can assign a different cabinet per preset on the Alpha series amps.
Right.
And then on the Generator series amps, it's done by the actual you actually don't change those with MIDI. You recall your program recalls a specific like again, as I change from purple to red, I have different cabinet presets that are assigned to those.
Right. Gotcha. Very cool. So when you're programming that, I guess it depends on what else is changing. Like in the preset that you have, are you also changing other things on top of that? Like with the Morningstar, I guess, like do you have it so that with that specific setting, you're just using that to change cabinets on the aggression, or is it also changing other things on the amp as well? Like when you're doing that?
When I think of your program command as all of the settings that you want for that specific tone. So I want red channel, red aggression, Fortin cabinet, and I program all of that. So like I can see the amp set up. I know how it's all dialed. I have my iPad set up. I know what cabinet it's going to. So you then say, okay, let's say I wanted to change this. Okay, I want this Mesa cabinet. Hold on, let me pull this up. I want this Mesa cabinet. I want you to see the amp. I want the Mesa cabinet to go with this amp. And so on red aggression and the red channel, again, I hit store. Then I send it either the command or I hit store again, and I just saved this cabinet to this specific channel setting. It's not saved as part of the preset, but then I go away from it and I go back up to purple, and it's swapped out for the Ken Susie cab.
So it's like that specific aggression level, regardless of what your program changes for your channel. It will right.
And I get different cabinets.
Cool.
That's so really again, cool, that's not a MIDI function, but when you recall the channel, it is important to understand everything that goes along with it, especially if you are using the XLR out. Now, again, if this is your live rig and you're sending it to a real 2x12 cabinet, like that virtual cabinet's going to have no effect on you. But the things that you can control. So we've talked already about the program changes. So the next thing we could configure here is we could do a CC change. So if we go into say let's go into the preset. We can either just assign a new button to this. Like let's assign a button that handles mute. So if you go into let's just go create another button in your Helix. And
let's go create another button here. In the command center? Okay, let's scroll over. Okay, so I'm on, let's go to this one here. So this is going to be this guy. Okay.
So the next thing that you want to do is, again, instead of doing a bank change, this is where we want that MIDI CC.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. So I will go to command to CC toggle.
Yep.
Perfect. And then bass, is it going to be MIDI channel 1 as well?
MIDI channel 1.
Yeah, and then the CC commands are listed in the AMP manual, right? So
those are going to do specific functions. That's what I have up on the screen right now.
Cool. And that's the difference, is the AMP has like specific corresponding CC commands that it will respond to.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So I got CC command here.
We want 30.
And that is that specific function.
That is the specific command for mute.
Perfect. Okay.
You could do this for things like bright or fat or whatever, but a useful button that you would want to program might be mute.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So we got MIDI channel 1, CC number 30, and then I have dim value and lit value.
Yep. So dim value is when that light is off, that means it's dim, which is 0. This is where it allows you to toggle. I was worried we would not be able to toggle. So when you hit this button twice, This will either, and then what we will need to test is, do we need the dim value to be 127 and the lit value to be 0? But I think this is correct.
Okay, cool.
Because also this will matter of like, if this is if we did this for bright and bright was already set, you may hit this button the first time and it might not do anything because the button's already on.
Right.
And you hit it again and it'll then turn it off and then it'll be in sync. So
gotcha.
Let's go ahead and save this.
So let's save it.
Now,
so we got
mute is one of the commands that you cannot see on the front of the amp.
Right.
You would see it. You would see it on the foot switch. The other thing to note, you can use both MIDI and the foot switch at the same time.
Right. So I guess they'll override each other, eh? Like depending on like if you send a MIDI command and you do the foot switch command, it'll just do what it does.
So again, if you hit if you're on a preset and hit channel 1 or whatever, it doesn't tell your other controller what it did.
Right.
But
they don't communicate unless they're linked together.
They don't know what each other has done, but they will. It's basically, I told the amp to do something. Sam, you told the amp to do something, and then Derek told the amp to do something.
Right.
But like Sam, you didn't tell Derek what you did.
Right. Exactly. Gotcha. Okay. So I have the CC toggle here. So in reality, when I hit this now, we should be muted.
Correct.
We are muted. There you go.
So just program that on for Derek, and then when he starts to play, you can just hit that button.
It's hooked up to my amp right now, but is this still the beginning? No, we're good. That's crazy. So it literally just meets the amp. So essentially all we need to do then is go through, like, if we wanted to use it to control specific things like that, I would just go through the manual, choose what I want it to do, and assign it to that button, and that's it.
Correct. So again, if you want
that's really cool.
Like you want to swap these, you want foot controllable access to the bright switch, the cut switch, the noise gate. You have all of those as buttons here, and you also have access to different things within the two-note thing.
Okay, so I'm curious now because I'm just quickly gonna, now that you've explained this to me and I can actually see what's going on here, this makes sense. So I'm gonna go to. Not to interject, but I really just want to quickly try this. I'm going to go to foot. This is great. Now that I see this is good. So I'm on MIDI CC, MIDI channel 1, and then CC command. So if I let's say I'm just going to open the manual because I have it right here. So let's say channel 3 high aggression is number 20. Let's do that. So I literally go to CC number 20. And so I don't see. So this is the thing now. I don't see the same. I have command MIDI channel CC number and value, and that's it. It's like the parameters are different here for some reason. Oh, CC toggle. I see. Okay.
So you don't want to toggle there. This is where like you.
Yeah.
Because you only want to send it basically at 127.
I got you.
Because these. The functions on the left, channel 1, all of the channel things are not toggles. These are individual. This is like how you recall a specific setting, and then the two channels and
it's working.
It worked all by itself.
So did the thing we told it to do
that's great. So it's funny because I just did it. So it was exactly what you just said. I programmed it to do channel 3 aggression. I was on channel 4 and I hit it and it didn't do anything. And then as soon as I went to channel 3, it switched the aggression. So yeah, that's awesome. That's so sweet. So now between the two of that, I can literally just toggle between that. So that would be. So when I'm saving like. Sorry, this is jumping ahead again. But when I'm saving presets and I'm sending like CC, like if I wanted to say let's hit one button and have it change the aggression and change the cabinet and change the bright switch or something.
You could, I would put all of those and change them as a PC command because again, you could do, and again depends on your MIDI controller because your controller right now is sending one action, one button does one thing. You could say. I want to send it CC 13 to switch to channel 1. I then want to send it CC 28 to turn the fat switch on and CC 29 to turn the bright switch on. Or I can have all of those set up there.
Yep.
And save it as program change for whatever
Right.
you want. So
Gotcha.
usually this would be like, again, this is the hyper control of this, and this goes down again to the use cases you want to use this for.
Right.
If do you want to program these things to have foot switchable control of a button on your amp? Let's say you're playing live and you sound really bright, and you're like, I think for tonight's show, I'm going to turn my bright switch off. Instead of walking back to the amp, you could have that on your foot switch. Or
Right.
if this is a studio scenario setup, let's say you're reamping, like let's say, Sam, you tracked your whole album in your head and just have a DI track. And now you're going to go reamp the section. In your DAW, you could send where all you want all of your amp changes to make.
In the
session and track the whole thing and reamp in one thing where you didn't have to like break it down by
it's with I've done that with Aaron programmed it, but with intervals that's what we did. That's what we did with intervals is we literally have a MIDI region in Logic that does all of our patch changes for the whole set.
Yes, and you could do that and not have a foot controller, and you could play your entire set and have everything changed the way you want it to.
That's what we did.
And real amp on stage.
Yeah. It was we did that with the modelers, but even then, like you can do it with an amp, and even having it do it with the modeler was so weird at first, like because you're just going and it's like, oh no, there's the sound, like the click track just did it, like So
it's clean now.
Yeah, now it's clean. It has some cool delays on it,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy. So like I never actually had thought about using that in like a reamping session. Like that's sweet.
Wait, give me a bend, Derek. Did Derek just understand what happened? If not, we've got to do a boomer bend.
No, he understood. We're good. No, he got that one, but he'll bend anyways. Yeah.
I did learn how to play that.
It took 8 hours to program.
Does it help count that I figured out that riff too?
The first day that I got the new, so again, I've had before I got my G20, I had the Alpha series. I had 2 G20s, and so I had had a practice. But like it took me several days to think through how I wanted to originally program. And I programmed my original Revv with my ES5 and the old board that I had. And once I realized the limitations of what I had there around, I could do one thing with one button, and I realized I needed to do multiple things with one button, or be able to hit the same button and turn something off. So the fact that the Helix has a toggle to do something, the ES5 cannot do that. You can hit a button which will turn on a pedal, and there's 8 different commands you can send it, but you can't hit it again and have it do stuff.
Yeah, just send it.
Just got to go out and send it.
Just send her, bud.
Yeah. Send it.
Yeah. What does Robbie say? Got to get my bandwidth switch on the click. Yeah. Once you get into the click thing, it's weird at first, but yeah, like automation when it's going is great, but getting into it at first is very strange. Once you try this on Atrix, that life's so much easier. Yeah, I literally I didn't we didn't really have a lot of Helix experience or MIDI experience going into this, so I just kind of downloaded it, and it seemed like easier just to do that.
Yeah, and that was intentional. We weren't trying to be lazy about it. Like we intentionally wanted to start
from nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, do you know what we can do instead of like setting up the mastermind with my board, which we will do later, like when we build our new boards.
Yeah, like we definitely will get more in depth on this topic, because what you've clearly shown us is that the functionality is like so extremely broad, and it also is very dependent on what system you're using to try to switch it with.
Yeah. So we intentionally wanted to start out like from the beginning though.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Yeah.
And I will say,
how hard would this be with like the old? I mentioned this earlier. The old like 10 to 12 button PV controllers, or the old Voodoo Lab stuff. You literally had to go hit various, like, I want to do this, and then you tap this button 12 times to I want to get this up to CC27, and then I want that to send. Like, you had to do everything on the hardware itself, and that's why. Once you set it up, you're like, I don't want, you literally would pay someone to do this for you, because you just wouldn't like mess around with it. Because if you wanted to change anything, you're like, okay, cool. Your Guitar Tech programs all this. Hey, I got I brought this new Digitech whatever rack thing. I need you to, I want to change these presets. They'd be like, yeah, no, you can have that in the next tour when we redo your rig entirely.
When we have time to do that.
Right. You get what you have and you're going to like it. The simplicity of what is available now in the RJM stuff, in what I'm impressed with the new Morningstar stuff. And again, all of these controllers are, they can be, at any price point can do a lot of things. There are like, you can buy a $99 Amazon, foot controller that looks like this. It will do this. I mean, your things are going to be, what kind of software interface do you have? Who else do you know? Like a lot of this is, Morningstar is doing, and RJM as well has a lot of content already built on how to do this. So just like, Revv is saying, here's all the content of how do you listen to what amp do you want to pick? Some no-name MIDI controller out there is not going to have the best support, or doesn't have a friend that that's going to, on our program.
Yeah, so exactly.
But this does not have to be expensive, and also like before you get into this, you really need to think full send.
He's winding up.
Yeah,
I can see it. Sorry. You can't see my peripheral. I just see Derek like sitting. He's like he's ready just to Beyblade. Just let her rip. Let's go.
That's
no one asking my Beyblade
and
reference.
Now,
that's right.
No other 90 kids here. Okay.
An hour.
Manny, Beyblades.
I got you. 17 minutes
good.
later, you have 4 buttons that do exactly the same thing as what your foot switch does.
Exactly.
Nice.
Literally.
Yeah.
And I get what Ethan was saying. It's like, this is super basic. And it's like, well, yeah, like that's what we want to start with. Like I feel like now
I am super basic, so that's what happens.
Like, even then though, I didn't not to sound like a noob because like I work with Revv and I understand MIDI, but like I didn't really know specifically what PC and CC changes we're going to do within the amplifier. So even learning that and being able to like, okay, here's a CC change, here's a PC change, like that already has laid it out in a way where it's like, great, we could totally build on this and get way more in depth. Like, this is a great kind of place to start.
You have to make these things talk first. That's why, again, we had to talk about the channel. Now, somebody is going to get their amp or whatever and is going to have turned off Omni-Channel Mode. And the first step is going to be like, I hit the store button and I hit the button on my thing and it's still flashing. That means there are troubleshooting steps along the way. Again, because it was in Omni mode and you sent it one on channel 1, it magically worked. Like if for whatever reason you had turned off Omni mode and you had programmed your head to operate on mine runs on channel 7, if you send it on channel 1, you're going to be there all day figuring out why these
nothing's going to happen.
They don't talk.
Exactly.
And then I do that. Now I send it one PC message and I got it to save. Okay, now the next thing I do is I send it the second one, and can I toggle between 2 things? Okay, cool. Now I want to have another button that again hits one of these CC messages. I want to turn the internal reverb on and off, and then there are like each one of these is a layer of this, and then it's what do you do with the Revv plus the rest of your rig? That's like the masterclass stuff is the like okay, on my amp switcher, I switch to the Revv. Turn this channel on and turn a delay and a reverb on. Like
yeah, exactly. And what I would like to do is over the course of the next couple times we do this is build towards that and actually get the 4 cable rig hooking up where we're switching a bunch of different stuff and whatever.
Yeah, and I think
and laying this foundation has been very helpful. Yeah.
But let us know what you're using at home. Are you using a Helix? Are you using Axe Effects? Are you using RJM stuff? Because that helps us come prepared with. Like, again, everybody who has a Helix tonight got something out of this. Everybody should be able to translate a lot of this to the Axe Effect stuff because it's going to work really similar with the FC whatever. I'm getting one of those. We can run different sections for
totally.
Like, again,
if anyone has questions, like let us know like what functions you'd want to try to do or like how to incorporate that too, because Anthony's like obviously a huge wealth of knowledge, and the fact that you're willing to hop on and do this with us is awesome because we're learning, everyone's learning, and I feel like if we can do a few of these and kind of build towards the fully integrated rig, then we're well on the way. So
yeah,
we are.
And you remember, you can do this with the Alpha Series stuff and the generators. You can on your D20, G20 stuff. Like we can go nuts with what we can do.
Totally.
I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, I wonder if I should just let George think that I actually know a lot more about this than I do, and make it seem like I'm just trying to get you to do my work for me or to do work for me.
You've succeeded.
And then Stobes typed in there, "You're a basic bitch," and he's not wrong. No, I don't know how any of this shit works, man. That's why Anthony's here, and I'm kind of like, I get it. Like, I understand.
No, you totally get it. Yeah, no, it's not that Derek doesn't understand this stuff. He absolutely does.
Prior to coming into this, it's no idea.
It's the amount of time that you have to invest into learning it in depth. And that's the thing is like, crash course, let's learn this in an hour and get it to work.
Yeah, legit.
Great.
I mean, I have not spent this much time trying to figure out a patch in any of my Strymon pedals as what we've spent on this. Yeah. Talking about this. Yeah. Like, I plug shit in, and if it works, I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, again, we're learning stuff in front of an audience of 40 people or whatever, to like, which again takes us longer to do anything and get sidetracked. Again, these are things that, again, I sat around and thought through and learned, I won't say the hard way, but I learned it by getting it wrong. Like, you go
and that's how you do with this type of stuff.
Wrong, and then, like I said, I had to go Google, like, okay, how does the Helix work today? At least to tell you, find the command center thing, and then Robbie knows something. This is like each one of your friends knows something about this.
Yeah.
Or has a tool to do it. And then, you just go wild with it.
Totally, man.
Kyle wants you to smash that like button.
Smash that like.
And I want to tell you, I'm leaving real soon.
Yeah.
So
Derek's, I was going to say, we do got to sign her off tonight, but I feel like, firstly, this was super
You guys can keep going. I don't need to be here. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anthony can show you what's up.
Derek's got hockey. Is that what's happening?
He's got his calling. His
I
Canadian
do literally one thing in my life to help myself not be so fat, and that is play beer league hockey. And it really doesn't help. But you know what? If I didn't do it, this would probably be even worse mess than it is right now. So,
I will say this has been super fun and like truly as basic as the functions that we did today were, very enlightening in terms of just the overall understanding of all this. And I really would, like to have you on more of these so we can eventually, build over the course of a stream a fully integrated MIDI rig. That'd be super sick.
Yeah, I will come and do these as often as I'll come as often as you want to have me. And if we want to, pair up to do some actual short, you don't have to scroll to, 1 hour and 12 minutes into this to.
No, exactly. I do like the interactive part of it, but I feel like we could definitely come up with some really focused content on this. So let us know what everyone wants to see in these comments, and we'll get it done for you.
You guys want to watch Sammy build his pedal board?
Yeah. I'll build the. We should do actually. We're getting those new boards set up. We'll build a board from scratch, and we'll program the whole thing with the amp, and we'll get that going. That's the biggest boomer bend of all time, right there.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it wrong, though.
I don't know if you can do it wrong. You gotta do it like that.
So close to that other song.
So unnecessary.
Yeah, all right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm making an ass of myself. Let me see if I can piss off Stanley. Oh, look, you put all my pedals back together.
Oh, God.
It got quieter when I did that. Let's not do that. What do you think, Anthony?
Sorry, guys. Ears are coming out for that
I mean, it's a vibe.
It is a vibe. It is certainly a guitar tone. I will say, the drop pedal cuts through no matter what. Like, as soon as the drop pedal's on, you can hear that it's just smacking.
I love it. Panning your camera back and forth. It looks like while we're listening to this, it looks like we're
I'm just trying to pick out what you're actually playing right now. What the effects are. Okay, I can hear it. Oh, okay, cool.
Sorry, everyone.
Thanks. We had to get one of those in.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anthony. Thank you so much, dude. We are definitely going to do more of this. Really appreciate you coming on. And let's talk more about this and how we can get more of this content going up for sure.
That's right. And next week we got some big news.
Next week is big news. Next week is super fun, happy times.
Yeah.
On Revv Gear and Beer, we have special guests.
Is it different than the news we already leaked?
It is.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to be in a new space.
So, we'll be in our new space for the next one.
Next week is our first stream in the new studio.
We will have in our studio Mr. Sean Tubbs,
Mr. Joey Landreth,
Mr.
Travis Tingley, Mr. Derek,
Mr. Sam.
Yeah, be a great time. We'll have 5 of us there. I'm going to get schooled by some real guitar players. So,
what is that?
That's Anthony.
Oh, it's that. I was like,
Derek's like, I'm not playing this.
Like, no, I don't have effects on. Why are there not effects on?
I turned him off. No. I do like that phaser that I figured out.
It does sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. We're going to wrap this one up for today. Thanks so much. Anthony, I'm sure you can hear me over the riff.
I can.
Okay, good.
You guys have
Sorry,
a
Anthony.
wonderful night. Derek, play well at hockey. Thanks for having me.
I will not, but I'll have fun.
We really appreciate your wisdom on this, dude, and we can't wait to have you back, man. Thank you so much.
And I promise I'll figure out some of how to do this shit before we do the one with the RGM.
You understood it just as much as I did. I was just doing it.
The RGM one will be.
That's being a little generous, but all right.
Yep.
The RGM, once you plug the USB cable into it and download the software, like this is it's the easiest thing you'll ever understand. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do that on the next one for sure, and we can actually get into programming some like pedal presets and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Thanks
for
everyone.
tuning in. Take care. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Talk to you soon. See you later. I can't even get the thing.
Oh,
Why is it in